Standard historical accounts start the clock for human life in India at one of 2 points, either the out-of-Africa migration, roughly 100,000 years ago, or the rise of the first planned cities in the Indus Valley. Curious, but archaeological anomalies tell a different story. The discovery of the Narmada human fossil and ancient stone tools in Riwat pushed the evidence of human presence in the subcontinent back 500,000 years. Navigating 500 millennia of history requires a system that prevents the narrative from collapsing into a chaotic list of disconnected dates and names. Historians manage this scale by dividing the timeline into 3 distinct eras, defined entirely by the evidence they left behind: prehistoric, protohistoric, and historic. The prehistoric era covers the vast majority of this timeline. Because no written records exist from this span, we reconstruct these early inhabitants using only physical remnants, fossilized bones, and sharpened stone tools. 500,000 years ago, Homo erectus navigated these landscapes. They survived by hunting with crude stone implements, gradually mastering fire within small nomadic tribes. Over thousands of generations, raw survival shifted towards cultural expression. In the Bhimbetka caves, rock paintings dating back 100,000 years depict animals and human figures, marking the subcontinent's first leap into cognitive storytelling. These hunter-gatherers eventually reached the Neolithic age, settling in sites like Mehrgarh to develop the region's first agricultural communities. These silent artifacts prove the Indian subcontinent functioned as a primary cradle for human social evolution, where nomadic survival transformed into settled complexity. The timeline then enters the protohistoric era. This period offers a wealth of archaeological ruins and written scripts, yet remains elusive because the languages themselves have not yet been deciphered. The Harappan civilization defined this age, rivaling ancient Egypt in scale. These organized brick foundations demonstrate a mastery of urban engineering, featuring standardized weights and sophisticated drainage systems long before the modern era. Around 1900 BCE, these advanced urban centers underwent an abrupt and mysterious collapse, leading to the abandonment of the great Indus cities. The subsequent Vedic period saw a shift in the social landscape. As Indo-Aryan groups arrived, the subcontinent's inhabitants adopted a nomadic, pastoral lifestyle centered on cattle and oral tradition. While this period left behind no massive stone monuments, it produced the Rig Veda. These complex philosophical foundations of modern Hinduism were maintained strictly through speech and memory. Advanced brick cities eventually crumbled into ruins, yet the unwritten oral traditions of these nomadic tribes survived for millennia to shape the cultural core of the modern region. We finally reach the historic era, where deciphered texts, foreign travelogues, and minted coins lock the past into a verifiable timeline. By the 6th century BCE, the northern plains rapidly populated with 16 Mahajanapadas competing for dominance. This ended when Magadha eclipsed its rivals, allowing the Mauryan dynasty to consolidate these territories into the first pan-Indian empire. Emperor Ashoka brought Mauryan power to its height. He projected a centralized authority that reached from modern Afghanistan to Karnataka, using intricate stone sculptures, like this lion capital, to anchor his recorded laws. Following the Mauryas, the region entered a cycle of internal golden ages, such as the Gupta Empire, interspersed with the arrival of new groups, including the Greeks, Kushans, and Huns. The medieval era saw another shift as Islamic empires like the Delhi Sultanate established control in the north, while the Vijayanagara Empire dominated the south. Medieval unification peaked under the Mughal Empire. Their reign generated immense wealth and a deep cultural synthesis, clearly visible in miniature paintings that merged regional Indian styles with Islamic artistic traditions. The historic record reveals a subcontinent that integrated, altered, and absorbed nearly every conqueror it faced, evolving into a dense cultural composite rather than a single static lineage. In the modern era, European sea traders arrived as Mughal authority faded. The British East India Company eventually seized control, moving into former imperial strongholds like the Red Fort to administer their new territory. This occupation triggered a massive 20th century freedom struggle. Mahatma Gandhi spearheaded a movement of non-violent resistance, using civil disobedience to challenge the legitimacy of British rule. Parallel to this, other leaders like Subhas Chandra Bose sought independence through direct military action, raising armies to challenge the British by force. Independence finally arrived in 1947, though it was marked by the trauma of partition. The subcontinent was violently split into two nations, uprooting millions of people in one of history's largest migrations. Jawaharlal Nehru became the first prime minister, viewing Indian history as an unfinished, continuous process of a nation, perpetually discovering itself. Modern India stands as the current chapter of 500,000 years of human resilience, a living continuity far deeper than any individual era or administration.